Dr. Tom, you mentioned China because in the very controversial apparition of Our Lady in the Philippines, in Lipa, Carmel, in 1948, one of the supposed secrets given by Our Lady to the visionary Teresita Castillo was concerning China. Uh, and actually, the late Cardinal Vidal had revealed that secret that China, that the secret of Lipa is about China wanting to dominate the whole world, and the Philippines is one of its favorites. You know, to dominate.
Targets. Yeah.
So, what what do you think is the connection? Like you mentioned about Russia and the Marxism. So, what do you think is the connection with China? With regards to the message of Our Lady at Fatima, and then she mentioned later in Lipa that her message at Fatima is the same as at Lipa.
I don't know if I can give on a human level a good answer to that. That would be more than just reaching for straws. But let's take a look at it on a spiritual level. China is where the red dragon is now, right? I mean, you got a billion people enslaved with not just cultural Marxism, but militaristic Marxism. They're under a double whammy. And so they are really an epicenter of what we could look at as the greatest visible Antichrist in the world. And then we look at the Philippines and Lipa, and we see that this is a holy, holy people. When I did my first book on the mystic Christina Gallagher, the stigmatist, one of the things that Christina said that Our Lady told her was the triumph was going to begin in the Philippines. So if Our Lady is saying that the triumph is going to begin in the Philippines, Our Lady is not just revealing a secret here, because there's going to be a visible side of that that's already affirmable. Mary sees the invisible because she sees the hearts of her little children there. But on a physical side, on a human side, we can see that the people of the nation of Philippines are devout Catholics. They suffer tremendously. My father was stationed in the Philippines in World War II. And he knows, and he talked about, what extraordinary people they were. He guarded the Japanese prisoners there. So on a spiritual level, we see that we have the great red dragon, China, visibly and invisibly facing, the great state of the Philippines of Our Lady, chosen to maybe spark the triumph, as Our Lady told Christina Gallagher. And when you look at the messages to Father Gobi, he certainly talks about the Philippines, and there aren't too many places where he goes in the world where he speaks of a people like that. So we see then that the devil sees that there's a showdown coming here. The devil sees that he's got his grasp on Red China pretty good, but he sees right next door there's something there in prayer, in sacrifice, in suffering, in everything that makes up what our Catholic faith teaches us, that is a danger. And so there must be a collision of invisible forces here, of good and evil, that are paramount, facing each other, like two gladiators in an arena, and we already know which one's going to come out ahead. And I think the devil already knows. One of the things that I tell people when I speak, when we talk about prophecy and what we can expect, and I think you can really see this in Father Gobi's messages, is that Our Lady's a lady of surprises. I did a book on a woman here in the United States named Estella Ruiz. And she used to say to me, Our Lady's really sneaky. She gets things done when you just, don't expect it from where you don't expect it, And it was very cute the way she used to say it. But basically, he was saying that Mary's going to get things done one way or another. Just hold on because it's going to happen. So I think Mary's at work in the Philippines, and I think we're going to see the same way we saw in 89, 90, 91, when we saw the Berlin Wall start to collapse, and we saw one day there were candles burning at the base of it, the next day there were feet dancing on the top of it. We saw the Iron Curtain collapse. We saw Gorbachev sign the papers in which the Soviet Union was dismantled. We saw that like that. And when we watched that on television, it was shocking, especially those who grew up in the United States during those years. We used to hide under desks and we used to go into the basement of our schools. It was mind-blowing. I think we're going to see that again. I think we're going to wake up one of these days and all of a sudden we're going to see, hey, there's a revolution occurring in China. Hey, there's something really crazy going on in North Korea. Hey, did you hear something happening in North Vietnam? Did you hear Cuba finally is overturned? Whatever. We're going to once again hear something tremendous. One of the things Our Lady said to Father Gobi that I've never forgot is right after all those nations collapsed in the East, in Eastern Europe, in the Soviet Union, Our Lady gave this wonderful message. She says, I will now turn my eyes to the West, and I will dismantle Masonry. I will dismantle the forces there. And she just basically said, I'm coming for you. I'm going to bring you down, and she's going to do that. But it's up to us, we're her hands and her feet with so much of what she's doing,
Yeah.
We are excited to announce that Mother in Refuge will be collaborating with John Leap's ministry to present a once-in-a-lifetime event. We introduce the Exorcism and Deliverance Conference titled Shielding the Children of God. This 2-day event, which culminates in a live worldwide exorcism, will be providentially held on the feast days of St. Benedict and St. Veronica on July 11th and 12th, 2025, held live in New Jersey or online via live stream, with 3 powerful exorcists presenting, as well as an ex-satanic wizard, Zachary King, and more great speakers. We are thrilled to welcome our keynote speaker, Cardinal Simoni, Chief of the Catholic Exorcism, known as the Living Martyr. Cardinal Simoni was unjustly imprisoned and on death row in communist Albania for 28 years. Now, he is an active universal exorcist and teacher exorcist. He is described by Pope Francis as the exorcist of exorcists. We also welcome Monsignor John Esseff, spiritual son of Padre Pio, and previous spiritual director of Mother Teresa in the Missionaries of Charity. Purchase your conference tickets now for 20% off using coupon code Mother in Refuge. Register now on website www.johnleaps.com or scan this QR code for more details. Don't miss out on this powerful spiritual event. Be strengthened, be restored, and be cleansed.